Well, good afternoon, sports fans. This is the final video in the Searching for Geoff's Lost Model series. A big thank you to sports fan Don Grant, who sent me this screenshot from my last video showing a suspicious plane-like object on the corner of the screen that I had missed. I plotted the GPS coordinates on the map and it turned up a lot further up the hill than Geoff led me to believe the plane had gone, so I wasn't particularly hopeful, but it had a little bit of colour that was the same as the plane, and I thought I'd take the venture back up and have one more look for the damn thing. This will be the fourth day in a row that I've been able to have a fly, which has been the exception rather than the rule here in the last year. With all the searching I've been doing, I'm pretty familiar with the route I've got to take, so I don't mess around. I just head straight over to the general area I'll be looking in. I know from the section of video that Don highlighted what the GPS coordinates are, not that I can fly to them, but I know how far away from home it is and what the general heading is. So that's what I'm trying to do, is duplicate that distance and heading, and the plan is to get down as low as possible to the terrain and do a bit of a grid search, and hopefully the mobiles will pick up a more detailed picture and I'll know whether it's worthwhile going for a walk to pick up a plane or whether it's just a square rock I was looking at. Just to make it clear, the view that I'm looking at is the flight camera, which is the little insert at the top, and the Mobius is facing straight down, but I don't have a view of that from my screen, so it's a lot of guesswork involved. The altitude, which you can see on the right side of the insert, is the altitude above my starting position, and I'm a fair way up a hill here, so that altitude isn't really reflecting on where I am. I'm trying to get as close to the ground as I can, and the foliage that you can see there is dead blackberry bushes that have obviously been poisoned. They're probably about 2 metres tall, so I'm keeping as close to those as I can. Being this low, I'm worried about running into a tree, so I'm having to stop every now and again and do a 360 just to get some idea of what obstacles there are around me before I go on further. The other problem I'm facing is that I'm actually over the back of the hill, so the video signal gets interrupted if I get too low. This is, as you can see now, this is what's happened here. I immediately apply more throttle and gain altitude till I get that picture back. I'm actually trying out a new antenna. It's called an RSSI Pro Track, so it actually tracks position. The trouble is, when it loses the signal, it starts doing a 360-degree circle itself, and it takes me a while to get the antenna pointed back in the general direction once I have gained that altitude. And once I do have the picture back, I start dropping back down again to the point where the signal is stable. These drops always make me nervous, so I get down to a safe height and I do the 360 to make sure I'm not going to run into anything during the next leg of the search, and carry on. I'm not seeing anything on the screen in the way of lost aeroplanes, but then I don't really expect to, as I said, here for the purpose of gathering the video for examination later. I've got Don Ran, another club member, looking over my shoulder and helping to direct me into the areas that duplicate the original video location. Don's also a FPV enthusiast, so we're both finding this a fascinating exercise, regardless of whether we find the plane or not. the Mobius camera that I'm using for these shots is different from the ones I've used previously. It's the original A lens, which has a narrower field of view and doesn't have the same fisheye distortion as the later models. Looking at the video now though, I'm starting to think, well, with that lens on too low down, I just don't have a wide enough field of view to really see much at all. I'm going to have to fly virtually right over the top of the plane to spot it. And the picture goes again, so I'm too low, so immediately the throttle goes back on and I climb up a bit higher and realign the antenna again to get my picture back. So I'll drop back down again and have a look around to make sure that the next leg of the search pattern is clear, and proceed again. So the battery voltage warning's been flashing for a while, and Don and I agree that we've pretty well covered the basic area of the original video, so if the plane's there we should have captured it. So I decided to pull the pin and head back. So Don and I go back to flying our fixed wing models, and Don actually leaves after about another hour and I continue to fly, and I get a call from Don and he says he's re-examined the original video in more detail and found a frame that shows that the object that we've been looking at is actually Geoff's plane, and it's quite clear when you blow the image up. And he offers to come back out to the field and help me look for it. So the GPS coordinates indicate it's only about half a kilometre away as the crow flies, and there's a track around the hill which is fairly easy walking. So we start off with fairly high levels of confidence that it's going to be an easy job. And surprise, surprise, it is. I actually turned the camera on to capture the discovery, but unfortunately I forgot to take the lens cover off until Don pointed it out to me. So there you go. Thanks to the two Dons, the mission has been a success and Geoff now has his plane back. So just to wrap things up, I'm buggered if I can see the plane on this video, so it's harder than it looks, this aerial survey business.